The birds have spoken, and so have my little fairy balls. Well, fairy ball. Ball? Bye? Here, this one might be better. Anyway, hi, how are you? I haven't been on in a little bit, and I am watching the World Series tonight. But then, you know how it's a slow burn, the baseball game? I love baseball. I grew up on it with my father. My team, however, is not in it, so I'm rooting for Arizona tonight. And guess what? They're not doing very well so far, but that's okay. So, because it's such a slow burn of a game, I can, check the score at any time. And generally, nothing goes on for quite a while. And I thought, well, let me just hop on here since I haven't been here in a little while. So I hope you all have been doing well. I have. I've just been super busy, and it's a good busy. It's just, busy. So I wanted to just sit and wait and see if Spirit had anything for you guys. I did write a post earlier today in regards to everything that's going on in the world. Um, I often feel conflicted because I don't really particularly have, a hankering for dealing with politics, um, religion, things like that. I try to stay in my lane in terms of like giving just my opinion. Opinions are like assholes. We all have them, right? Uh, but this channel and the things I do, for the most part, I guess, on my social pages and so on, I really try to stay out of that. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at that, but I do try to just give messages from spirit as opposed to my own opinions and beliefs. And if I find that that line is crossed for one reason or another, then I just don't say anything at all. You know, it's kind of an agreement I have with my helping spirits, as I had mentioned in my post, that it's a trust thing. I trust them, I trust what I'm getting, but I also um, honor their asking, I guess, for lack of a better word, for me to share that if I do get something that seems to be important to share. So with that being said, sure, I have opinions and they're mine, and I do talk about it sometimes, and like I like to show who I am. I love all kinds of music. I like to dance. I like to laugh. I'm goofy as AF, right? But that's me as a person here on earth, and then there's the other me that's also me, the one that is here to kind of just do my shamanism stuff. So anyway, uh, today's post was about those messages that I received. I really kind of limit my time in terms of watching the news, just because I am a sensitive person to begin with, you know. But it is important to know what's going on in the world. And when I feel like I'm at an even keel and I'm ready to also view things from an objective perspective, then I go ahead and I put the news on and I go, oh, oh. Doesn't matter how prepared I am or how many things I burn, sage or candles or whatever. It's just the same thing. Oh, because it's just, not great, you know. And the thing is, the news is sort of designed that way. It's like, if it makes me sad actually, because I like to see more of the good stuff if we can. You know, the person down the road who's giving away things and, you know, doing good deeds. I personally think that's news, good news. You know, news that needs to be shared. But you know, you're seeing some of that at least on social media, and that's, I'm very choosy who I follow, and I try to see that. You know, with that being said, you know, I'm long-winded, but when I was looking at the news today and I got my, you know, I just went into another area, you know, in my spirit, and I said, okay, look, it's terrible. It sucks. What can we do? So what I started doing, you know, and it's not like a whole conversation, it's these split second things. That's how you know, for me anyway, that's how I know it's spirit. It's just dun dun dun, and I'm already in it. And so I just started just lighting up the whole area, you know, and lighting up those who are planning bad things, you know, towards other fellow human beings on the earth, and also animals and so on. Light them up so that they might be seen before they do it, you know. And the idea of lighting something or someone up is like, I often do it when people come to me for missing persons. I don't know if I've mentioned it here on this channel, but I have helped in some police cases and so on, where I do try to help and find missing persons. And I've been, you know, toot right now, but you know, I've been pretty helpful with that. And one of the things that I do is I light them up. And in my mind, lighting them up is to make them more apparent and make them stick out where somebody is going to see them. You know, like there was this one little girl that was taken, excuse me, and she was in a car as far as they knew. So I lit up that car, I lit up the girl. I just, you know, it's like a thing that you do in your mind. However, it's actually real, especially when things happen when you do it. You know, you have to kind of go between what's fantasy and what isn't. And I think that always the best barometer is like, if it's effective, then there's your proof or something like that. So anyway, um, I did that, and I said, you know, I feel they'll be found in within an hour, and they were. And it turned out that something stuck out to another driver, and they reported this car, and they were caught and found in 1 hour, like right then, boom. This is just beautiful things, and it's not even me. You can't even quite say it is or what, but it's always my helping spirits. I always give credit to spirit and the energy, excuse me, that's involved. So, you know, with that being said, that's the idea I had in mind with all of the stuff, the really bad stuff going on. It's like I can't even speak and articulate properly because, you know, there's no words, and everybody knows there's no words for this because we're all having issues um, articulating, and some of us are probably too much fire about it. And then that, when you have too much fire, you're burning the purpose, right? You're burning the true meaning behind it. And when I say fire in shamanism, anger is basically fire, you know. And when you have too much fire, you just burn everything down. There is room for every emotion, including anger, but it's how we channel that. It's how we go about it. It's how we take a deep breath and make a plan to execute, you know, an action with the catalyst of fire, with the catalyst of anger. We should be angry. We should be sad. I mean, and I don't like telling people what they should and shouldn't be, but what I'm saying is it's normal, and it's also needed, in my opinion, uh, and I guess my spirit's opinion at this time. It's like, how long are we just going to, yeah, just don't look at the news too much, yeah, bury our heads in the sand, yeah, go and meditate, la 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 la, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to see it. How is that working anyway? How long can we do that? It has to be a point where we're looking at things, right in the face and saying, this is no good. This has to change. I mean, it happens every now and again, through our history. And when people get angry enough, yes, there are some things that happen if that anger is not executed properly, it's not channeled properly. But if we use that, as I said, as a catalyst for change, it could be brilliant, and it could be what's needed sometimes. Sometimes, when you get tired of something so badly that you're like, oh, I'm just gonna change it. Like, that's it. This is the last. That's what we need. The tricky thing here, of course, is that people are going way old school. People are eye for an eye, fire with fire, and that's also tricky. And that isn't always the right move either. It's like you have to, in a masculine environment, and I'm not even saying it's just male, because we all have masculine energy, but masculine environment in that, how do I put this, where it's war, uh, fighting, and this is usually like a masculine energy. So in that energy, in that environment, we sort of have this posturing, yeah. And it's like you have to stand up for yourself, and you have to kind of boom, boom, mano y mano, push back, and you have to protect your loved ones, right? So nothing is easy. It's not that there's a decent solution at this point. Nothing is that black and white, but with spirit, it is. It's basically just love all down the line, all across the board, always. I bought this silly looking painting with Einstein, and it says, love is the answer. And I thought that was the best piece of art I ever bought in my life, because it's the sentiment. It's what he's saying, or holding in his hand. At the end of the day, it is love. It sounds really corny, and it's like, but Jenny, how do I apply that? What does that do for this, that, and the other thing? Well, maybe on the surface, right this second, it doesn't do anything, but how are we going to change this world and what it's doing over and over again? Just picking wars, just fighting each other, just ego trips, just, your God is better than mine, and I don't like your face. Like, when is this? Do you think that if we continue to do it this way, that there's going to be a solution, because some bigger dog is going to come in, and squash out the little dog, and then that's it? There'll be no more war? No, maybe temporarily. Then it'll happen again. Yeah. So the solution is not, go and conquer and control the people and, hurt others because you've been hurt. Like it's a concept for all of life for whatever we're doing. But, you know, um, I hope I'm making sense as I'm just channeling, but something has to change in order for something to change. Yeah. It's like if we keep on the same trajectory, it's going to continue to do the same thing. And as technology improves and as more people get more hostile and upset and so on, we're also going to find more harm being done. If you think about the Middle Ages, they were very brutal, but their technology was non-existent and limited, so their reach to hurt as many people as they could was also limited. And so with technology and far reaching and all this money and the billions of dollars and these big, bright, shiny war machines, yeah, we're just going to compound it, hit harder, hit more. It's just not working, guys. It's not working. So I go back to love. you know. And so my recommendation, my feeling, my message is about sending love even to the bad guys, the people that are not on the level that perhaps you are in terms of morals, because at the end of the day, how can someone who feels love at all do this to another person, right? So what are they lacking besides compassion, which is a cousin of love, right? It's love. It's love, love, love. It's always the answer, always the answer. That's I can't say it more. So anyway, what I am doing is as I was watching this news, I just started lighting things up and I was sending love and I kind of turned really big and I could, with energy work and shamanic work, you can do a whole lot. And we can be in many places at any time. And I just show up and I'm a giant. I'm just bigger than the earth. And I stand behind people and I give them love right behind them, every shoulder. Yeah. I do that when I send my healing energy too, or when I want to say hello to someone far away. It's a lovely thing to do, whether you think it's effective or not, or that the person knows you're doing it or not. It's a lovely sentiment. And if we can put like just that, thoughts are energy anyway. So if you can put that into the collective as opposed to feeding the collective, which is already, drowning in fear, anxiety, pain, anger. If we could just put that notion, that clean, beautiful energy of love, however you see it, however you want to do it, you're helping. And that's huge when you're sitting there and you feel like you can't do anything for anyone, watching all this unfold. So that's my 2 cents, 3 cents, 3.5. We had a big one. One last thing I'd like to mention is about the value of yourself and of others. And I suppose maybe this is connected when it comes to talking about love. I think that, and it's no secret, with social media these days and even, commercials and All this stuff people are trying to shove down our proverbial throats. Yeah. It's about the outside always, and about looking a certain way, you know. Um, you could have $1 million in a plain paper bag and then have a, a ball, a proper ball of shit in a freaking Louis Vuitton bag. Let that sink in. You know my point then. If we could work on the inside as much as we work on the outside, because we care so much about what people are thinking, they're judging us about our hair and our lips. Why are you doing this to your lips, guys? Stop. I don't mean to criticize, but anyway, like we care so much about that because it's seen, right? It's seen immediately. What if all of the thoughts were broadcasted instead? All of the actions that nobody has seen were broadcasted instead. What if all that was first when we look? Well, how does it look to you? How would it look? I've known some very beautiful people who are maybe not what society would think on the outside. And I'm not saying this to say that there's something wrong with beauty on the outside. I'm not saying that. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good. I like to feel cute. I think I'm cute most of the time, It's not that. That's okay. I'm not going with it. I do have a sort of aversion for this lip thing and what I could go on and on, but this thing, it's not that kind of party here, but I'm not saying that that's all wrong, but is it all? Is it all? What if we projected what's in the heart first? I wonder how we would pay actors and actresses or, influencers. I wonder how that would go. So that's it. That's all I'd like to share. I know I went on and on a lot. Struggled through some of it because, you know, shit, right? This stuff is tough. So anyway, I haven't been on, so I made up my time here, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you very, very soon. Goodbye, bright blessings. I love you. I really love you. I will see you. Bye bye. I'm saying bye bye 8 times because I'm trying to end it. Bye.